Winston Churchill, Donald Trump, two names that resonate through history, though separated by the chasm of time. Their legacies, though distinct, have shaped the world in profound ways. One, a wartime leader who rallied a nation against fascism. Winston Churchill, with his indomitable spirit and stirring oratory, became the symbol of British resistance during the darkest days of World War II. The other, a businessman turned politician who upended political norms. Donald Trump, with his brash style and unfiltered rhetoric, redefined the American political landscape in the 21st century. Their paths to power, their styles of leadership, their methods of communication, all vastly different, yet curiously intertwined. Churchill's eloquence and gravitas contrasted sharply with Trump's direct and often controversial approach. This essay delves into the intriguing parallels and stark contrasts between these two towering figures, examining how they navigated the turbulent waters of politics and left their indelible marks on history. Both men faced immense challenges and used their unique skills to galvanize their supporters. Their eras, though distinct, offer compelling points of comparison. The 1940s, marked by global conflict and the struggle for survival, demanded a leader who could inspire hope and resilience. The modern era, with its rapid technological advancements and shifting political dynamics, required a different kind of leadership. Churchill, operating in a world dominated by radio and print, understood the power of the spoken word to inspire and unite. His speeches, broadcasted over the airwaves, became a beacon of hope for millions. Trump, on the other hand, rose to prominence in the age of social media, mastering the art of the tweet and the viral soundbite. His ability to communicate directly with the public through platforms like Twitter allowed him to bypass traditional media and connect with his base in unprecedented ways. Both, however, understood the importance of connecting directly with the public, of bypassing traditional gatekeepers, and speaking in a language that resonated with their base. Their ability to engage and mobilize their supporters was a testament to their understanding of the power of communication. Churchill, often referred to as the British Bulldog, embodied resilience and defiance, particularly during World War II. His indomitable spirit and steadfast leadership became a symbol of hope and perseverance for the British people. Despite the relentless bombings and the ever-present threat of invasion, Churchill's speeches and public appearances galvanized the nation, instilling a sense of unity and purpose. His leadership, characterized by unwavering resolve and a deep belief in his nation's destiny, was instrumental in rallying the British people to stand firm against the Axis powers. Churchill's ability to articulate the stakes of the conflict and his vision for a post-war world inspired not only his countrymen but also allies across the globe, provided a beacon of hope during Britain's darkest hour. His famous speeches, filled with determination and a call to action, echoed through the airwaves, reaching every corner of the nation. Churchill's presence during the London Blitz, where he walked among the ruins and spoke directly to the people, reinforced his image as a leader who was deeply connected to the struggles of his citizens. He possessed an innate understanding of the human spirit, knowing when to offer words of encouragement and when to issue a rallying cry for action. His ability to connect with people from all walks of life, from soldiers on the front lines to civilians enduring the hardships of war, made him a revered figure. Trump, in contrast, projected an image of the maverick outsider, a disruptor of the status quo who promised to make America great again. His rise to power was marked by a rejection of traditional political norms and a direct appeal to those who felt marginalized by the existing system. His leadership style, often described as unorthodox and confrontational, resonated with those who felt unheard by the political establishment. Trump's rhetoric, filled with bold promises and a willingness to challenge the status quo, struck a chord with a significant portion of the American electorate. He eschewed diplomacy in favor of blunt talk and bold pronouncements, challenging long-held assumptions and ruffling feathers both at home and abroad. His approach to leadership, while polarizing, undeniably reshaped the political landscape, leaving a lasting impact on the nation's discourse and policies. Both Churchill and Trump understood the power of rhetoric, though they wielded it in vastly different ways. Churchill, a master orator, employed soaring language and historical allusions to inspire his countrymen. His speeches, often delivered at pivotal moments in the war, served as a lifeline of hope and determination. Trump, on the other hand, favored a more direct and often divisive style of communication. He connected with his supporters through simple language, memorable slogans, and a willingness to attack his opponents head-on. His use of social media, particularly Twitter, allowed him to bypass traditional media filters and control his own narrative, for better or worse. Churchill's primary means of communication were radio broadcasts and public speeches. His wartime addresses, delivered with gravitas and conviction, reached millions, galvanizing the British people and solidifying his image as a wartime leader of unparalleled stature. Trump, operating in the digital age, harnessed the power of social media like no other political leader before him. Twitter became his virtual megaphone, allowing him to communicate directly with his supporters, bypass traditional media outlets, and control the narrative. His rallies, often filled with ardent supporters, became modern-day versions of the town hall meeting, where he could rail against his opponents, air his grievances, and reinforce his populist message. Section 5. The media's evolution. The media landscape during Churchill's time was vastly different from the fragmented and hyper-partisan environment that Trump faced. In the mid-20th century, media was centralized, with a few dominant newspapers, radio stations, and television networks controlling the flow of information. This created a more unified public discourse, where news was largely consumed from the same sources. Churchill, operating in a world of limited media channels, enjoyed a relatively unchallenged platform to disseminate his message. His speeches were broadcast on the radio and printed in newspapers, reaching a wide audience with little opposition. The media, for the most part, rallied behind him, recognizing the gravity of the war effort. Journalists and editors often saw it as their duty to support the national cause, leading to a more cohesive narrative in the public sphere. Trump, however, faced a media landscape that had undergone a seismic shift. By the time he took office, the proliferation of cable news channels, online news websites, and social media platforms had transformed how information was disseminated and consumed. The rise of cable news, the internet, and social media platforms created an information ecosystem characterized by echo chambers and partisan divides. People increasingly consumed news that aligned with their pre-existing beliefs, leading to a more polarized society. Traditional media outlets, struggling to adapt to this new reality, often found themselves cast by Trump as the enemy of the people, further eroding public trust in established institutions. This adversarial relationship between the president and the press marked a significant departure from the media's role during Churchill's era, highlighting the profound changes in the media landscape over the decades. Section 6. Images of power. Both Churchill and Trump understood the power of imagery. Churchill's wartime photos, showcasing him inspecting bomb damage, visiting troops, and delivering his iconic V for victory salute, became enduring symbols of British resilience. Trump, similarly, cultivated a carefully crafted public persona. His red "Make America Great Again" hats became ubiquitous symbols of his movement, while his penchant for dramatic photo ops, such as his walk across Lafayette Square to St. John's Church during the George Floyd protests, generated both praise and condemnation. Section 7. Beyond the grave. Churchill's legacy, though not without its complexities and controversies, remains largely intact. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest Britons of all time, his wartime leadership serving as a touchstone for generations. Trump's legacy, on the other hand, is still being written. His supporters view him as a transformative figure who challenged the status quo and gave voice to the voiceless. His detractors see him as a demagogue who damaged democratic norms and deepened societal divisions. Only time will tell how history will ultimately judge his presidency. Section 8. The Farage Factor. The comparison of Churchill and Trump gained further intrigue with the involvement of Nigel Farage, a key figure in the Brexit movement. Farage, an outspoken admirer of both men, saw parallels in their political journeys, their ability to connect with disaffected voters, their willingness to challenge conventional wisdom, and their remarkable comebacks from political setbacks. Farage's attempt to position himself as a bridge between Trump and the UK government highlighted the transatlantic dimensions of the populist wave that swept through both countries. It also underscored the enduring fascination with leaders who defy categorization and upend traditional power structures. Section 9. A legacy in question. In conclusion, the juxtaposition of Winston Churchill and Donald Trump offers a fascinating study in leadership, rhetoric, and the evolving nature of political communication. They stand as testaments to the enduring power of personality in politics, the importance of connecting with the public mood, and the ways in which technology can both amplify and distort political messages. While history will be the ultimate judge of their legacies, their impact on their respective countries and on the global stage remains undeniable. They serve as powerful reminders that leadership is not a monolithic concept, but rather a complex and ever-evolving tapestry woven from the threads of personality, circumstance, and the art of persuasion.